call the meeting to order. Item 1B will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody here for the prayer? Item number 2, approval of minutes. January 13, 2025, regular meeting of the council workshop on January 22nd, 2025. If no objections are registered, the council chair shall approve same as written. Item number 3, approval of warrants. Suggested motion to approve and sign warrants 70 through 79 in the amount of $1,006,318.99. Discussion? All in favor? 7-0. Item number 4 is to accept gifts, donations, and grants. Suggested motion to move to approve and accept the following gifts, donations, and grants in the amount of $79.13 as detailed below. The organization giving this amount is actually the Moissons, and it's for the heating fund. Steve and Marcella, all in favor? 7-0. Chairman, town manager's comments. I don't have anything.
I do not have any at this time.
Planning board report.
I'm Wade tonight.
Hi, Wade.
I just want to let you know that there was no planning board meeting, but there was nothing for the agenda.
Thank you. Monthly reports. Council, any comments on monthly reports? Dan?
I'd like to comment on the police chief's monthly report. If you've read that, it was probably one of the more informed monthly reports I've ever seen, which is kind of refreshing. I pretty much know what your plan is throughout the year. And I just want to comment, commend you on that. It's very informative. So just keep up the good work, because I found it very refreshing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on monthly reports? Item number 8, open forum. The council will allow Lincoln residents and or Lincoln taxpayers to comment prior to council action on agenda items. Open forum questions should be forwarded to the town office by email to Town Clerk Ann Morrison at questions@lincolnmaine.org. Please have your questions, comments in by 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. If you have any questions, please call 794-3372. General requests may be made in open forum during the regular meeting, but will not be acted upon in the same meeting. Individuals wishing to be heard by the council will be recognized by the council chair. After identifying themselves, the speaker may make brief comments and may not repeat previous statements made. The speaker must limit themselves to the item under discussion, and the speaker must observe the rules of common etiquette. The council chair may set a time limit on length of public comment, a time limit for individual speakers. We have so many people, I want to make sure everyone's heard tonight, so we're going to limit that to 3 minutes. And hopefully that'll be enough for everybody to get their point across. The council chair reserves the right to stop any public comment that is contrary to the rules, and any councilor may call point of order during the discussion. Any person who disrupts a council meeting may be required to leave in order to maintain orderly consideration of the matters for which the meeting was called. Anybody for open forum? Yes, Kathy.
Kathy Moyson. I would like to request a report on the status of the audit that have been ongoing, just how close it would be to being done with the audit. And then my second question is, will we be allowed to speak during the discussion on the EMS, ask questions?
We'll see what we have for time.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Do I need to submit my
You,
comments?
no, you can just step to the microphone, identify yourself, and if you're a resident of Lincoln.
Yeah, my name is David Ireland, I'm a resident of Lincoln. Good evening, Counselor and fellow residents of Lincoln. I stand before you tonight to express my deep concern about statements that made by our town manager, Mr. Bronx. Recently, he was quoted in the Lincoln News as saying he let a few houses in wind burn down before they came around. He also stated people don't want to understand or recognize that these things cost money. And it costs money, and these little towns don't want to pay. When he called into WBOM, George Hale, Rick Tyler's morning show a few weeks ago, he claimed I had taken his words out of context. Yet when pressed for clarification, spoke on the radio and by reporter Ben Nicholson, he declined to set the record straight. In fact, when Mr. Tyler asked him, well, Rick, do you regret some of the comments that you allegedly made to Benjamin and gave fodder for those who are filing the area? Anyway, Mr. Bronson replied, well, I don't think so. No, I don't have anything in particular I want to take back. To be clear, the statement from the town of Lincoln during EMS negotiations was, well, we'll let every house in Lincoln down to before we sign Lincoln's contract. End quote. But Mr. Bronson's quote, we'll let a few houses in wind burn down before they come around, is his own. Contrary to the impression he gave on the radio, he was not merely repeating what Wynn had said. He chose those words and has refused every opportunity to explain or clarify them. These statements reveal a troubling mindset, a willingness to prioritize finances over the safety and welfare of people, even to the detriment of our neighbors in nearby towns. At the same time, Mr. Bronson requested and received a 16% pay increase from $108,085 last year to $125,400 this year. While he blames the property tax issue on the cost of answering EMS calls for non-contract towns, one has to wonder whether this significant salary increase also contributes to the rising property taxes. My concern goes beyond these statements since I began speaking out about Mr. Bronson's deeply troubling quotes in the Lincoln News. It has become apparent that he and some members of this council may be disconnected from the values and desires of Lincoln residents. I'm almost done. While I'm only one person, I believe it's my duty to continue sharing the facts so that ultimately the people of Lincoln can make informed decisions about the direction of our town government. Tonight, I'm calling on Mr. Bronson to do the courageous thing and step down immediately. Failing that, I urge this council to terminate his contract as soon as possible. Lincoln is a wonderful, close-knit community. We help our families, friends, and neighbors in time of need and worry about paying the bill later.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Anyone else? Mr. Bronson?
May I speak to what's just been said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have been quoted, and I did utter these words as saying the town of Wynn, when they ended their fire contract with us, I spoke with one of the select persons and I said, what do you plan to do next? That select person in Wynn said, we're going to have to let 3 or 4 houses burn down, then we'll be back to you. I did not make that statement up. I took it from the Wynn select person, and actually it is what has happened. I really believe that Les Brown, the fire and EMS chief, and I are following the instruction we have gotten from the majority of you regarding providing services into towns who refuse to pay. Regarding the problem in Quahog, we had given them months of notice that we were done serving them because they would not pay. I really believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really believe that is the instruction I have gotten from the majority of you. 2 weeks after the incident, They came here and paid for 5 months to get through the end of June, our fiscal year. All the money that we ask of these places is on the same formula that this town has used for, certainly for fire responses, for something on the order of 15 years, double the amount of time I've been here. And we're using a formula regarding EMS services in places that do not buy fire services from us. And quite honestly, I think if we look at what it costs us when we have our people far afield, we're probably not collecting at all. But we're being, as some people would like to say, good neighbors and providing these services where we can. Les Brown may speak to the following idea. We have asked Aroostook County, since a number of these places are in extreme southern Aroostook County, if Aroostook County would like us to service the whole group. And we have said in discussion, you're going to have to buy us a third ambulance. You people remember we had 3 once. We're down to 2. You're going to have to buy us a third ambulance, and you're going to have to pay for 4 more people, because that's the way we're going to keep our staff up to respond in Lincoln when these people are gone 25 or more miles afield. Aroostook County has very clearly said to me, I think Les may reiterate the same thing, no, we're disinterested, we're not going to do that. So the question becomes, and I think there could be people in the room here tonight who would like to speak to the idea our taxes are too high. They can go higher. We'll run that third ambulance and charge nobody anything for it, if that's what you instruct us to do.
That's not gonna happen probably,
I'm guessing it won't, but
but getting to the fact that that is a policy that was brought to the council okayed it, and you and the fire chief have been following that direction. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone
Thank
else
you.
for open forum? Okay, item number 9, special recognition. George, could you please come forward? So, plaque for Representative George Edwards in recognition of 6 years dedicated service to the Lincoln Town Council and its community members. This is January 2025. Was it 9 years?
Just flip that 6 over.
I'll come around.
Yes. Yeah, hang it upside down, there you go. Congratulations.
I don't mind scratching a 9 on my head.
Thank you.
George.
Thank you for your service.
Was it 6 years as chair and 9 years altogether? Okay. We'll get that fixed.
It's okay.
We'll put that right in the budget.
That's his award for being chair. Now he gets one for the whole time.
Item number 10, discussion on emergency medical services.
would you like me to say more?
Sure.
I'm not sure. I think I've explained it, but
So right now, the taxpayers in Lincoln would be looking at an ambulance with 4 personnel to run it.
yes.
And the approximate cost of that is about $250,000.
$250,000.
And that would have to be raised through taxes.
Taxes or fees others pay to us, yes.
And right now, the formula that we use is 80% for the outlying communities
That's
versus,
the fire formula, is not the EMS formula.
okay, what is the EMS form?
Better off to have Les Brown speak to it.
We have charged replantation and new plantation and core plantation. But what we're running into now is Worcester County would like to have us cover a section that's Eastbourne and Orchid. And that would be when C2R5 and C1R5, which is named about 50 homes. We went up and counted the homes, about 50
They have offered, Worcester County has offered us $19,500 to cover that.
All four.
But only Moncus Township has any residents. Then you have a couple lakes that have camps on them. And we figure it's probably about less than 50 runs per year in that area.
In the 19,000 won't even come close to touching that.
19,000 will not give us the protection we need for the third ambulance. That's correct.
Council?
I was gonna say, at this point,
I think I'm correct that we don't cover the cost of running the ambulances as it is. Okay, so that one of the problems is that taxpayers are supporting the ambulance system
That's correct.
already.
A lot of it, yes.
Yeah.
Now, on the 19th of next month, I guess those townships will not have campus protection. Just to keep you aware of that. There will be nobody responding to those towns.
Because East Millinocket ended their contract?
These go like end all their contracts. There will be nobody responding. So the same situation could happen again.
But Aroostook County officials tell us they're not interested.
No, they told us they would $19,500. And that would be about as much as McCawhawk and Reed and Drew are paying us. With a lot more population.
Can we provide that service? We might as well look at it now. It's a service to our community. It's not a money-making project. Simple as that. It's just not.
You would receive the $19,000 and you'd receive the payment from the insurance company when we transport. Also, they agreed that if there is no transport, those from that town, if we respond up there to a car deer accident and nobody's transported, they'll agree to $300. That's it done. We can try to do better, or we can do nothing. That's whatever your wishes are.
But in the meantime, we do that. We're looking at adding 4 additional EMS personnel to the department.
That would be the superior for everyone to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we talked about, but if we stuck it just too thin, we definitely would need a second-hand ambulance or a third ambulance, because what could happen is we could be on transfer to Bangor, which those are our patients at PVH. We could be on transfer to Bangor, and the second call could be at the nursing home, and a third. We have a great relationship with Howland. Howland backs us up, and we back them up. It's just that 15-minute response time. But we have, like I said, we have really good mutual aid with Howland.
Well, Mr. Manager, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we're gonna go out and have a $250,000 outlay for an ambulance, that's gotta go to the voters. At least I would like it to go to the voters, and that wouldn't be until the next election. So,
If that's the way you wish to do it, you certainly could include it in budget if that's what you wanted to do. That's up to you people.
I'm one person, but I'm of the opinion that our taxes have gone up 3 years in a row. And we're looking at another revaluation, or we're looking at, revaluation across the board. And Ruth, do we know what that number is gonna be yet?
Not yet, no.
We don't
We're
know.
working on it right now.
But it's somewhere between 10 and 40%. And so our taxes are going up. But so we have to look in places to cut. And as much as I'd like to, I'm one voice, but as much as I'd like to support our neighbors and do stuff, the Lincoln taxpayers taking it on the chin. And we really need to watch that, especially this year, not having our businesses up and running yet. I still expect that maybe BioFine's gonna be breaking ground in March, but we haven't seen any ground getting broke yet. So, that's kind of what we're hoping. And some new businesses coming into town, but it's not gonna cover costs like this. So, I'm of the opinion, I'd like the voters to tell us if they want a third ambulance in this community. So,
I think it's kind of a moot point because if you run anything as a business, why would you want to continue operating in the red, if you're not going to be in the black? This is not even going to offset enough cost to take care of one employee, so I'd be definitely against it because, if you're upside down 30-40% in the department, that don't set well, especially to the voters of Lincoln. So,
and we're not waiting for someone to come from Howland for Lincoln residents. Lincoln residents are paying for this service.
Yeah.
But that's where it comes to Lincoln residents ought to be deciding whether it's going to go out to other communities that will be paying for that service too. So,
Mr. Chairman, could we look into what Howland did, like the Highlands, like more of a mutual aid type agreement, and then worry about payment later down the road?
Mr. Chief Brown.
We definitely can look into that, but if you look at the Lincoln News last week, you can see it's cost those communities quite a bit of money that's involved with that fire arrangement. But yes, that's something we can look into. What your request, we're looking at anything that you want me to look into, and we have a good look into. That's just from this board, I just would really like to have a decision tonight that says that we will not respond anywhere that's not in a coverage area, because you see what happened to us last time. So that's what I would like to, our response area.
We already okayed that policy. And it doesn't lie with you two. If you two went against the policy made in this chamber, then that's a problem. And it's as simple as that. But if we can make arrangements to do things with other communities, I want us to make every effort we can to make those arrangements.
So those arrangements do with more, I guess, keep those 4 little communities is $19,500.
Which won't even cover the personnel for the ambulance, let alone the ambulance.
So is there a goal that you would like me to approach when it comes to that? Is there a money figure that you have? Because we're gonna have to have the same meeting between now and July. You got several other contracts that are gonna be coming. Whether we're gonna keep $100 per capita or what the wishes are gonna be from this board.
Whether we need to raise the rates.
Right, because like I said, that's July, they're gonna start calling us right off because they're starting to do their budgets.
Sure. Well, I think we definitely need something on the agenda for the next agenda to be looking at some numbers and what have you, if we can. Mr. Moisen, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Stater. May I make two requests?
Sure.
Well, actually, one request and one suggestion. I request that town staff provide town council actual EMS collections in recent years. The numbers that appear in the budget, I understand, are only partials. Believe that a wise decision requires more information than appears in the town budget. And the proposal I have to make is bold, and that Lincoln inform Southern Aroostook County that if they want us to service them, it's going to be our incremental cost split by the people in that part of Aroostook County. Round ballpark figures, that's probably close to $400,000 a year that those communities have to come up with. That's, I heard $250,000 for crew costs, plus administrative overhead, plus benefits, plus the cost of servicing and depreciating the ambulance. That's a fair number. We'll manage it. They got to pay for it.
Thank you. I'm not a resident of town. I'm on the board. You're talking about the 90,000. I just wanted to put the number out there that next year our budget starts in not Scott County for the unorganized territories that we cover will pay almost 33,000. The same, that's 33,000. Just shy.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, I apologize.
No, I don't need an apology.
They need to
stand at the microphone. We can't hear them on.
Yeah, okay, we'll try for that. We're saying if we're gonna put a third ambulance in operation to be able to cover these, that we need 4 more people. Quickly, you can determine that there are 8 people per shift there now. And so why don't we need even more? And the reason is that we are only predicating this idea on the fact that most of the ambulance runs are during the daytime. So we would only staff that third ambulance 12 hours a day, and it would not have anybody the other hours. And I think Mr. Aaron's will join in to say, Les and I attended their first few meetings, and we said to them, if there is anything for us in this, we'll come back. But it doesn't look like there's anything for us in it. So we let them go on their way with many meetings, and we can look, but I have extreme doubts.
Sheldon?
Chairman, another thing we ought to look at, if we're gonna continue to raise up prices, these small towns, they're hemorrhaging as it is, so what are they? You know, they're gonna say, I can't afford the service, so that in itself wouldn't even warrant us to even look at a third ambulance, so. Cause I made a couple calls, and I mean, you know, you only can squeeze so much blood out of a turnip, you know, so.
Second, yeah. Mr. Ireland,
Can I make another comment?
just shortly,
I don't know if I can-
briefly.
This will be really quick. I just want to clarify my previous statement that I do not expect the town of Lincoln to offer free EMS services to all the surrounding towns that are not contract. That's not the case. I don't want to see my taxes go up either. So.
Thank you. Okay. Just one more, Kathy.
This won't help tonight, but this is an article that came out today in the Maine Monitor, where the legislature is looking at exactly this situation that towns can't afford to pay for EMS, people who have EMS can't afford to service them, and what is the legislature gonna do? So I made a copy for each of you, and our representative who's here with us tonight, Irene, one of our representatives, keep your eye on it, because I don't know what the legislature can do, and that's for the council. But it's recognized that this is a statewide problem.
Thank you. Council? Item number 11, appointment 2026 Budget Committee members. All Budget Committee members will need to take the FOAA training per the amended FOAA training law 1 MRS subsection 412 and fill out a completion sheet to be filed with the town clerk. Does anyone have anyone they want to put on the Budget Committee? Yes, good. Not picking low hanging fruit, are we, Gordon?
Chairman, I have Steve Landry and Gilbert
Steve
Landry
Landry.
and Jabet Mayo.
I have no way.
Jared,
Nope.
Marcella, Steve. I'm gonna break these up and we're gonna vote on them separately. Move to confirm the following appointment on the 2026 Budget Committee. George Edwards, all in favor? All opposed? 6-1, Mr. Edwards is on the Budget Committee. Kathy Moisen, all in favor? All opposed? 6-1, Kathy Moisen's on the Budget Committee. Steve Landry, all in favor? All opposed? What do we have, 5-2? And Gilbert Mayo, all in favor? All opposed? Gibette Mayo will not be on the budget committee. Approve installment agreements, item number 12. Suggestion motion move to authorize the treasurer on behalf of the town to council to dispose of real estate acquired by the town for non-payment of taxes in the following manner. Letters will be mailed to previous owner of record and required property offering the opportunity to redeem their property for cash payment at least equal to back taxes owed. All interest, legal fees, lien charges for conveyance of said transaction to be completed within 30 days of mailing of the letter and to include the issuance of a release deed. At the direction of the town council, when case warrants, there shall be an opportunity for the town council to enter into a land purchase installment contract with a prior owner that meets the criteria as determined by the council. If A and B are not met, the treasurer is to initiate the bid process in accordance with MRSA section 94-C, 943-C. There will be a minimum bid equal to all taxes and fees. Take a motion. Steve? Marcella? All in favor? Oh, discussion, I'm sorry, discussion.
Okay, one quick thing. Under 3, we refer back to A and B. It should be 1 and 2.
Okay. We can note that in the minutes. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, are we doing our due diligence? And I understand the process, but moving forward in the months and years to come, we're gonna see more and more tax acquired properties.
Yep.
So we should really do our best to work with these homeowners because I wouldn't want my home taken out underneath me just because I couldn't afford taxes. But then again, I would sign a contract to do that. But I would like to reassure the residents of Lincoln that we're doing our due diligence to keep them in the home.
I believe sending out letters and checking with them and seeing if they want to sign a contract is Mr. Manager.
We follow the procedure as laid out by the state, and I think the treasurer could further tell you some of the experiences she'd had. We've had multiple people sign an agreement that they're going to pay in an installment agreement and then not pay. It takes, to lose your house to taxes, takes a minimum of 1.5 years.
So we are doing everything we can to keep people in their properties.
Assuming that eventually they pay taxes, yes.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr.
No.
Manager? No, I'm good. All in favor?
I'm opposed.
Okay, 6-1, Sheldon opposed. Item number 13, reaffirm tandem axle dump truck purchase and financing and authorized treasurer 0104 and 0406. This purchase was originally approved by the council December 12th, 2022. Suggested motion, move to reaffirm entering into a lease agreement with, is that Freightliner?
John, I think you have a new, there should be a white sheet.
Should be a what?
The memorandum.
A memo that changed that motion.
Move to reaffirm entering into a 6-year municipal loan agreement with Machias Savings for the purpose of purchasing a 2024 Western Star Model 4700 tandem axle dump truck to be provided by Freightliner. Initial payment to come from reserve funds accumulated over a 3-year period. account number G-2-0219-00 in the amount of $44,696.94. Subsequent payments to come from yearly operating budget. Council authorizes the treasurer to sign any necessary loan lease documents. No discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
If the council approved this 24 months ago, why are we looking at it right now? I'd also like to know how many miles in what truck we are replacing.
Melissa?
The reason we are reaffirming this lease payment is the rate that we could get for the loan is only a 30-day, they only hold it for you for 30 days. And because the truck wasn't available right away, we have lost that original lease rate that the council voted on, which is why I went back out. John has in his hand 2 lease rates, one from Machias and one from KS State Bank, who we've worked with in the past as well. Machias Savings has given us the best rate by over a percentage point on this, and it's actually less than the lease rate we would have had back in 2022 as well. As far as the vehicle, Dennis can speak on that.
I don't know. I just found it under my papers. Yeah, before they vote on that, they ought to be able to see it. I'm sorry, Marshall, I didn't know it was there. Yes, Dennis.
The truck that we're cycling out is the last truck in the lease program that we talked about with the council several years ago. It's truck number 6. It's a 2014 model. It's 80 to 90,000 miles. I don't know exactly.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the first year we did the leases, the maintenance went down $20,000.
That is correct.
And we anticipate the maintenance to go down another $10,000 this year with leasing.
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, what is the total cost of a lease versus the cost of ownership?
The lease is about $8,000 or $10,000 more than the sticker price on the vehicle. This vehicle, this last one is about $250,000 to lease it, and to purchase this, it would be about $240,000. And those are round numbers. And the savings with the lease is the maintenance, the tail end of maintenance. And some of the ones that have been here, remember the presentation that I gave and clearly showed the maintenance cost rising significantly after 5 years of ownership.
So in a way, this is like
Setting us up, so if there is a problem, that's their problem for the maintenance, not ours.
We entered into 6-year leases. There are some things that are covered by the manufacturer, some things that are responsible for us. Moving parts, brakes, tires, things like that are our responsibility. And engine goes, that's covered under warranty. But the maintenance costs significantly rise after 5-6 years of ownership. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
That's all taxpayer dollars if we had bought it outright. And as far as maintenance and stuff there, so yeah, the leasing program is a great program.
So, Melissa?
Yes.
So the best rate and the best, I see the 6-year term in Machias Savings is less than the 5-year, but you got an extra year. So is the best deal here, the best interest rate, the 50,250 or 43,044?
The best interest rate is the 50,000.
Yeah,
But I didn't know if the council wanted to do an extra 7,000 per year on that to cut the year.
what's the total payment of those 2 plans?
I have the email, hold on.
I could bring up a point.
Sure.
The older vehicles break down more often, we know that, and there's some cost that needs to be attributed to downtime where our equipment is not out on the job doing what we purchased it to do. And so with the newer vehicles, with the leasing, we've minimized that.
I'd like to amend my motion to table this until next month. Once again, we're getting information the night of that we haven't had a chance to review. So I would like to make a motion to table this.
I'll
And
second
get all
that
the
motion.
information on time.
And I apologize for that. I did not get the rate from the Chais until Friday afternoon. And there was no way for me to get it to you before tonight.
I'll second that
Motion and a second to table this. Yes, go ahead.
I'm curious, if we delay this a month, what is the risk of having a higher rate?
If it's less than 30 days, we can still have the same rate.
So we're, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just add in that this truck is there at Freightliner waiting for us.
All in favor? All opposed? 5-2, motion's tabled until next meeting. With Gordon and Dan. Item 14, suggested motion move to retire executive session pursuant to Title I MRSA Section 405 6C real estate acquisition.
So moved.
Gordon,
Second.
Jared? Discussion? All in favor? 7-0.